What's going on, guys? Tobin here with you. Thanks for checking us on out. You're beautiful and I love you. And appreciate all the support. If you guys could check us on out on the Porpoise Pod and subscribe to that on the YouTube channels, the podcast channels, wherever you consume stuff. I assume you guys do YouTube, because why would you be watching this otherwise? Unless you just got you got down some rabbit hole of goosies. I don't know, really. I guess that's possible. But looks like the snow is barreling down. What was the report out there today? It looks like Orchid Park. This is from Eric Snittle. He says, Orchid Park has been upgraded to lake effect snow warning, set to kick in Friday night, run through the weekend. A narrow but intense plume of accumulation could yield more than a foot of snow where the squalls persist. Looks like it's going to be a lot of snow there for the Buffalo Bills, which is, I'm hoping, what they wanted, because obviously they didn't want heat. That's all we heard, is that it was too damn hot, and people didn't like that. Yeah, Mike McDaniel, he's rocking the troll shirt, which I love. I absolutely love that. He's got his little pep in his step. I tell you, the thing that was funny that I found from this past week was the notion that Tua has to be safer. I thought that was it's not that I disagree with the statement. I just think it's funny, because everybody came into this season talking about the Dolphins QB, and the talk that was, well, you guys got all these weapons for him and he doesn't know how to utilize them. He doesn't push the ball down the field, and he doesn't have an arm, and it's not going to work. And I always found that a funny thing with him, because I didn't ever find, even in the years past, I didn't find Tua to be a very safe player. I thought that actually Tua always tried to make plays, something out of nothing. Sometimes he'd throw some mind-numbing, because he was a very accurate guy, but he'd throw some mind-numbing interceptions, and you're like, well, what the hell? What was he seeing there? But everybody came into this year and they're like, oh, Tua, he's going to be a check down Charlie. He's going to be lefty Chad Pennington. He's going to be a guy out there playing it safe. All right. Get your Snuggie out there, because Tyreek Hill, you're not going to get the ball. And instead, Tyreek Hill broke the Dolphins' franchise record for receiving yards. And Tua and him just seemingly connect on explosive play after explosive play all the time. But now it's funny that the week is, and the talk is, and Tua lent some voice to this too, where the talk is, oh, you gotta, if there's a safer play there, you gotta take it. That there's too many risks, and that he lived in that playground over the middle, which is not something a lot of QBs do. And now the talk with him is, well, he's gotta know when to play. And to a degree, again, I don't disagree with this necessarily. It's just funny that is the talk this week, because all throughout the offseason, every carnival barker out there, every fraud, every charlatan was telling you that this guy was going to do nothing but dink and dunk all over the place, when the facts are he's been going for huge chunk plays all season, all over the middle, right through the heart of the defense. And it's just been a funny thing to hear this week, where he's like talking about, oh, why he hasn't been checking down as much. He lent some voice to this yesterday.
We're not trying to chase these deep throws, but they're always within our progression. So that's really essentially what it is. We're kind of seeing two routes as one if it's a deep play, and then checking it down. But a lot of the times, this year when we found success, like the first read on a deep, route would be open. So essentially we never needed to check it down a lot this year. So it's good lessons that we're learning, now in the season, get into, grind time of the schedule. So it'll be good to just continue to fall back and resort to the things that we've been taught to play the position, is take what the defense gives you.
That's the thing that's been crazy about it, is the Dolphins were on such a hot streak. I mean, you think about their season, right? Tua games. The Ravens game, monster play after explosive play. The Bills game barely had the football. explosive play. Even the Patriots game, you think about that 4th down, big touchdown to Jalen Waddle. This Dolphins team, the 30-point streak that they had going on, this Dolphins team was just putting up monsters. This is what's made them so fun. Why everybody's been so attracted to them down here is not only are they winning and have had a good season, but the football style has just been very pleasing to the eye. And the funny thing is, like, last week was really the first week where, you know, you probably could have dealt with some safe, where they wanted to play it safe. Justin Herbert honestly played a safer game. He was better. I'm not trying to say he didn't outclass Tua, but he played a safer game than Tua did. And, you know, Tua still had probably the most explosive play of the game when he found Tyreek Hill skedaddling down the field and streaking in for a touchdown. But I just find that interesting that we're now at this part where Tua is now got to get to the point where he's knows when to be safer. Take it easy, to little take it easy, Tua. It's just it's crazy. Now I think he's gonna be fine. This is very he's done a great job of this in a degree, adjusting the season with talking about holding on to the football. You know, he was one of the things that led to his injury. Still, as we mentioned, he's always been a guy. He's tried to make something out of nothing. He's tried to make plays. He's gotten so much better at just throwing the ball away. Intentional grounding, notwithstanding from last week, but throwing the ball away, trying to get out of trouble, letting a play die if it's not there. Because, again, for the Dolphins, even on these third downs that they were doing, they've been taking 3rd and 10s, 3rd and 8s, all these, and it's been like nothing. They won't even blink an eye at it. It's why Mike McDaniel and his giant grapefruits doesn't give a rat's ass about 4th down. But it's been an interesting thing. I don't, you know, I have faith that he'll be able to unlock that if it is a necessary thing. But a couple interesting things before we wrap this thing up. Injury report. We have a couple guys out. Elijah Campbell out, concussion. Eric Rowe out. He is got a hamstring injury, and Eric's had some pretty big plays, so that is a bummer of an injury. Then River Craycraft dealing with a calf injury. He's doubtful. As far as the big questions, respect to the other guys, but the big questions, Teron Armstead practiced on a limited basis on Thursday. He is questionable for Saturday night's game. And this, to me, probably the biggest question of them all, Jeff Wilson. He was limited in practice, and he is questionable for the game. And I think that Jeff Wilson is an absolute game changer going into this game, changing the pace, giving the Dolphins a level of physicality. If it is crazy out there, if it is a game they have to maul up front, I feel like you cannot succeed if you do not have Jeff Wilson out there. The guy knows the system well. He has just brought a gritty monster mentality to that backfield, and then solving things up for Raheem Mostert for that speed game element too. So huge to know that Jeff Wilson is going to be good to go. Tyreek Hill, not even a question on the injury report. Kader Kohu, Landon Roberts, Jalen Waddle's not even on the injury report. So that is a lot of good news out there as far as, you know, some of the more well-known players, but Eric Rowe, who has been pretty rock solid, especially after Brandon Jones went down and they've needed his lift up. They've dealt with a lot of injuries in that secondary this year. He is out, and Elijah Campbell's out as well. So that's going to be a bit of a blow to the secondary for sure. But if the one thing I can take out of this that's super positive is that there is a chance Jeff Wilson's going to give it a go, because I think they need him. I think they need him in this game, and really, really helps, especially if this is going to be some crazy elements. It's going to be crazy for everybody, man. I'm not too hung up on it. I think it's going to be a cool thing to watch. It's huge. But I thought this was interesting today. Mike McDaniel was asked about if he's ever gotten advice, a good piece of advice in his time in football. He was asked this by Dave Hyde of the Sun Sentinel. And here's what Mike McDaniel had to say to that.
Mike, I'm doing something on advice and good advice people have received through their careers. Is there any, off the top of your head, anything that someone has said to you that resonated and helped you or made you think differently? Or
don't lose.
Beautiful words, and something I subscribe to. And quite frankly, fits for the Bills this week because let me just say this. Look, your touchdown favorites. You guys did a lot of bitching. I'm talking about your fan base. Bills Mafia. Dummies jumping through your tables. You did a lot of yakking. You know, you brought a lot of your Bills fandom down here to Fort Lauderdale. Props for you guys making the trip down here. But I have heard so much chirping from that game. Oh, it's unfit. You beat the Dolphins 100 times in a row. This is the first year I ever heard you guys bellyache about that stadium, the temperature, and it was like the same time of year last year. What was it, week 2 last year that the Bills played the Dolphins? You know, ridiculous the way that the Bills fan was acting. Stephon Diggs said he wanted the Dolphins, then was too scared to admit that he said he wanted the Dolphins, so he's denying that. Ergo, maybe he doesn't want that smoke. I don't know. But whether he wants it or not, let me just tell you right now, Bills, don't lose this game, dude. Don't you go out there and lose this game after all that talking and all this Super Bowl favorite nonsense, and now you get the opposite of the sun, all right? You get Antarctica. You get everything that your little heart desires. You guys are out there practicing in winter coats. You got a shirtless Ryan Fitzpatrick, and by the way, you guys can keep him. But Mike McDaniel, he said it best, dude. Hey, don't lose. Don't go out there. If you're such big bad favorites and you got all the elements in your play and you're a touchdown favorite and you got a lake wind, whoever the knows, buffalo sauce snow effect that's going on there, and you guys are going to be out there throwing your sex toys and snowballs at the Miami Dolphins, by all means, don't lose this game. Don't you lose to the Miami Dolphins, because if you do, and they're breathing down your neck, and you blew everything that went in your favor going into this one, everything that you wanted since that week 3 beatdown that you took, and Ken Dorsey freaking out in the press box, and it's pained me to see that because I love Ken Dorsey as a Canes fan, but I did also delighted in his pain that day. Don't lose.